Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. What you see here is a Jacquard weaving loom. It allows me to weave any pattern I want on fabric. And it works with two color wefts and the whole machine has been before developed on Fusion 360 and then every part has been 3D printed on PLA, then printed again and then again and then again and then again. I made several mistakes. It was a nightmare. But it works, it does its job and allows me to develop all the textile idea I have in mind. So right now I'm working with a black warp, but this can be changed. And the whole idea is to make a better version of it, and so to do some improvement and to make it faster and more reliable. So, but before diving into the construction of the new machine, probably it's better talking about this one and see how it works. When I started thinking about how to explain the weaving process, at first I thought about making, beautiful 3D animation with moving parts and this and that. And I thought about that for too long, actually, before realizing I had an elephant in the room. The main player of the game are warp and weft. The warp are the threads that are held under tension on the loom. The weft is the thread that travels back and forth over and under the warp. During the weaving process, there are four basic steps that follow the same cycle. The shedding. So a loom uses a device to lift some warp threads up while leaving the others down. This creates a triangular gap called the shed. This device, in my case, is the Jacquard. Then there is the picking. Once the shed is open, the weft threads is passed through the gap. In my loom, this is done using a shuttle. This is the tool that holds the yarn and flies across the loom back and forth. Then the beating. After the weft threads is through, a comb or a reed, you can use both names, push the new weft tightly against the fabric. Taking up. The whole fabric is pulled for a specific distance by a winder. The distance the winder travels at each cycle corresponds to the number of wefts per centimeter. So that means that if the winder moves 1 millimeter per cycle and it does it for 10 times, you'll have 10 wefts in a centimeter of fabric. So shedding, picking, beating, taking up, they go over and over in cycle and create the fabric. So now that we know how a weaving machine works, let's figure out what we want to make with the new version of it. So, for sure, this thing is gonna be faster. Right now it's working at 34 cycles per minute. So that means that now if I make a fabric with 10 wefts per centimeter, I will make about 3.5 centimeters of fabric every minute. So the new machine is gonna be less complicated. Actually, this one is a little bit over-engineered. So I'll reduce sensors and motor because it's a nightmare of sensors and motors. So talking about the new features of the new machine, point number 1, 4 weft shuttle instead of 2. So right now I can use only 2 colors on weft and it's easy to understand. The next one will use 4 shuttle, that means 4 colors. Easy to understand, but not easy to make it. Anyhow, point number 2, sorry. Double warp threads. Now I have 128 warp threads with a density of 20 warp threads per centimeters. That means I can weave up to about 6 centimeters wide fabric. So doubling it will lead me to 12 centimeters wide fabric. It's gonna be a pain because I have to modify the Jacquard up here. It's gonna be doubled in terms of size. But let's see, we'll see on the next videos if I can make it. I think I can, but I don't know. Let's see. Number 3, lower the travel distance of the comb. So the comb does a too long travel right now, leading to several troubles. First of all, the speed. So now if you have to do a longer distance, of course, it takes more seconds to make it, or a fraction of it. And also, where did I write it? There is too much space for the warp thread to be pulled by the warp weft. And this is another issue. Last, right now, there is too much stress on the crank and shaft mechanism that moves the comb. So, it's a quite of, it's a, how can I say, it's a lot to do, actually. So I wrote them and I thought it was fast, but it's not at all. It's gonna be a nice trip, a nice journey. So probably I'm gonna split, not for sure, I'm gonna split everything in different videos, because in one video it's impossible. That would be too long and I don't have that time, to do it. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I completely forgot about 2 other features I want to add to the new version of it, of the Loom. So one is the braking system. So right now, the warp is tension passing around 3 cylinders that are braked by a leather string connected to a spring. So the next version will have a stepper motor directly connected to the warp cylinder that will loosen little by little the warp. And now that I'm talking, I'm thinking that I will probably need a force sensor that checks the tension force on the warp at every cycle. So the idea of reducing complexity probably will vanish. I'm not sure. I hope so not. Anyhow, let's see. Let's do step by step and see where we go. The last improvement is the digital dashboard. That it's right now allows me to do few things and to have few information, but that can be improved with more things and more information that can be helpful during the weaving process. So finally we made it at the end of the video. It took me a life to do this video. I'm not good at all at video making, but I really hope you like the project. I hope you like the Loom and all the efforts I made to make it work. So what I didn't mention is that the machine is working with an Arduino Mega that I'm gonna probably use for the next project too, because it's just perfect for what I need. Instead, here, that's the very first Loom I built, and this monster was in my sitting room, because I hadn't this beautiful place before. So you can imagine my girlfriend having this thing in the middle of the sitting room. She wasn't that happy at all. So before splitting up with her, and I've been able to find this place where I can develop all my textile projects. So I'm gonna disassemble this monster. I'm gonna reuse sensors and motors, because it's not an inexpensive project, so I will save some money if I use parts of it. I'm not gonna use probably the mechanical parts I printed on this machine, because it was the very first experience with 3D printing, so there are a lot of mistakes I made. Anyhow, you'll see on the next video also how I will disassemble it and reuse parts of it. Hope you liked it. Again, subscribe, ring the bell, do whatever. I mean, I like that you enjoyed the video. That's the main part of the game. Ciao, and see you next time.